Welcome to another training session. In this session, I'm going to discuss about a very important topic called as method overloading in Java. So, uh, method overloading, I would like to show you some documentation for the same. Method overloading is a feature that allows a class to have more than one method with the same name, but their argument lists are different. That is, the name of the method will be the same, but the data type or the number of arguments will be different. That is what is called as method overloading in Java. So there are two ways to overload the method in Java. That is by changing the number of arguments or by changing the data type of arguments. So what do they mean by this? That is, you can have multiple methods having the same name in your program, but their argument list, but the number of arguments or the data type of the arguments should be different. For example, consider this. That is, I have returned one method called as add. So if you see this example, in the first one, I have passed two parameters, two integer parameters to this add method. Okay. Whereas in the second one, the number of parameters is 3. I am passing 3 arguments to this particular method called as add. So in order to overload him, so this is a very perfect example for method overloading. So in order to overload a method, the argument list or the methods must differ. That is, differ in the number of parameters. Okay, so that is the first case. Now let us try to see the second case. In this case, you can see that add method has 2 arguments, 2 integer arguments, and in the second case, add methods has 3 integer arguments. So this is a perfect example for method overloading where the number of parameters are different. Now comes the data type of parameters. So you can see the number of parameters to the both the add methods are the same. It is 2. First case, I'm passing 2 integers. Whereas in the second case, even though the number is the same, the data type is different. First, I'm passing an integer argument and then I'm passing a float argument. So this is also another example for method overloading. So even if the method, what is the rule for method overloading? That is, you can write multiple methods with the same name, but their argument list, that is either the number of arguments or the data type of arguments should differ. This is a valid case of overloading. Now, in order to overload now let us try to see the invalid case of method overloading. If two methods are the same name, same parameters and different return types. Now consider a scenario. Consider this example. That is, what is the name of the method? The name of the method is the sum. In the first case, I am passing 2 integer arguments. In the second case also, I am passing 2 integer arguments, but the return type is float in the second case, whereas the return type is integer in the first case. This will throw a compile time error to me. Okay. Why? Because the return type does not determine method overloading. It is only the parameter list, that is the number or the data types that is passed into the method. Okay. So if the return type is different and if the signature is the same, then this is invalid. You will get a compile time error. This is not an example for method overloading. Now, method overloading is also an example for static polymorphism. I'll be discussing polymorphism in another video, but I'll give you a brief insight into it. Polymorphism can be basically classified into 2 broad categories, and that is compile time polymorphism, which is also called as static polymorphism, and runtime polymorphism or dynamic polymorphism. And static polymorphism is achieved in Java by method overloading. Static polymorphism is also known as compile time binding or early binding. Static binding happens at compile time. To put it in other words, it is the compiler when you write multiple functions with the same name but different number of parameters or different type of parameters. It is the compiler which decides which function to be called. So all this calling of the method happens during the compile time. That is why it is called as static binding or early binding or compile time polymorphism. Now this we will see later. Let me do for an example for, let me open NetBeans and do one example for method overloading. Let me open a new project, file, new project, Java application, click on next. So I'll write an example for this like poly method overloading demo. Method overloading demo. Click on finish. I'm just going to delete so that I get some space. I'm running out of space in my computer. Delete. Let me delete this as well so as to get some space. Having some space issues. Okay, so method overloading demo. And then under this, let me create a new package, method overloading demo, new Java package, new pack. I'll put the name as new pack. Click on finish. And under this, let me create one class, new Java class. And let us write it as overload class. Okay. Click on finish. So you got your class over here. Now in this program, I'm going to find the area of a square as well as the area of a rectangle. So let me write the name of the program. To increase the readability, we should add comments. Program to find the area of a square and rectangle using method overloading. Program to find the area of a square, program to find the area of a square and a rectangle using method overloading. Okay. So in this, I will write, first I'll start with public static void main. Public static void main string args. Public static void main string args. And in this public static void main string argument is, so now I'll write one one method called as, that is public void area, public void area int a. Inside I'll put inside, and inside the method I'll write integer square underscore area equals, as all of us knows that the area of a square is side into side. Side into side. I'm going to, since the method does not return me, I'm going to print it over here. That is system dot out dot print ln the area of the square equals plus square underscore area, plus square underscore area. Then, so now I'm going to write one more method with the same name, that is area only, public void area, and then I'm writing, that is float, FLOAT, I made a mistake in the spelling, float length, comma, float breadth. And then I'm writing, one A has popped up here. So float breadth. So I'm not getting any error. You see, the name of the methods are the same. Usually you cannot write in same thing again and again. But because the compiler is tolerating this, because the number of arguments, what is here, only one argument is the, whereas first I will do with the number of arguments. Okay, let me give this as integer itself in order to establish my point. I'll make this as integer itself. That is, you see, that is the data type is here, only one integer value is passed, whereas here in the second, once I overloaded the method, for the second time, I have passed two arguments, that is length as well as breadth. Whereas in the first case, only one argument is being passed. So in this case, I'm writing integer rectangle underscore area equals what? Integer rectangle underscore area is equal to length into breadth, equals length star breadth. Integer rectangle underscore area is equal to length into breadth. Okay. So, and then now I should print this value, that is system dot out dot print ln the area of the rectangle equals plus rectangle underscore area. Okay. Now comes this part. Now what should I do? I should call these two methods. What is that? That is, I should call these things from the main. Okay. So because main is static, I should declare these. If I have to call this, okay, I should declare. So I will declare this in another class. That will be better for me. Or if it is in the same class, I should declare this as static. Public static void area. Because static methods can be called from inside a static context only. So I will call this, that is, first I will call area of, I will pass one value, that is area of, I will pass one integer value, area of 4 and put semicolon, and then I will write the second one, that is area of, that I should pass two values, that is 3, 6. So this is a perfect example for method overloading in Java. So I'll explain the program once more for you. Let me just save this. Overload class.java, run file. The area of the square is 16 and the area of the rectangle is equal to 18. My program is working perfectly fine. So you can see that why did I put static for this? Because I have declared everything within the same class. So public static void main, that is, if I have to call another method from a static context, then that method should also be static. That is why I inserted the value static. I inserted the keyword static for both these functions. Otherwise, I'll get a compile time error here. Okay, so this is a perfect example for method overloading. Here I passed 4. So which version will be invoked? This function will be invoked when I pass one value, and when I pass two arguments, then this particular function will be, or method will be invoked. So this is an example where I have found the area of a square as well as the area of a rectangle using method overloading. Now I am going to do one more program. So in this, how did I overload the method? I overloaded the method. Even though data type is integer, the number of arguments differed in this case. Okay. Now I am going to pass one more. I am going to write one more class here. In the same program, I will create one more class. Okay. So let me write outside this class. That is class over demo. So in this class over demo, I will write one method, that is public void m1, public void m1. Okay. So public void m1, and then I should write system dot out dot print ln no arguments, and then I'm going to write one more method with, I'm going to overload this m1. So public void m1, public void m1, integer I comma integer j. Okay. So system dot out dot print ln integer arguments, and I'm going to print that integer arguments as well, plus I plus space plus I plus space plus j. Okay, so I'm just printing the integer arguments. Then now I am going to pass two double values or two float values into this. That is public void m1. You can see the name of the function, the name, return type, everything is the same. I'm only passing the number of arguments differ in this case. Not number, the data type, number as well as data type both differs. So that is float 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 j comma float. You can write whichever you want. Float j comma, these are local variables, and then float k. Float j comma float k, and then always making this mistake. Float k, and then I'll just paste this in order to save time. So plus k plus j. Okay, so you can see that here I'll just remove this, so that here the number of arguments are the same. Earlier in the in the program which we did, what did I do? The number of arguments differed. Overloading was achieved by by passing different number of arguments. In the first method, only one parameter, whereas in the second method, two parameters are the length and breadth. So, but data types are the same. What are the data types? Integer. Here also in the second overloaded method also it is integer, but the number of the parameters differ. Whereas in this case, what am I doing? I'm passing two arguments in the first function. Second overloaded function also has two parameters, but you see the data type of the parameters differ. This is another way to achieve method overloading in Java. In the first case, the number of parameters were different, whereas in the second scenario, the number of parameters are the same. It is two. It is two in both the overloaded methods, but you can see their data types differ. In the first case, it is integer, whereas in the second case, it is float. Let us see how this works. So what should I do? Come to public static void main, and I should create an object of this over demo. That is over demo. O is equal to new of over demo. And then I should write like this: new of over demo. It's capital D over here. New of over demo, and then O dot. What did I write here? O dot. You can see this method m1 of float. So whenever I'm passing float values, that is 10.5, I should pass a small letter f, and then 3 point float, as you know, these are decimal values, and should pass one small f along with that. Just by mistake I have passed t, 3.5f. O dot m1. So I call that thing. Then O dot, one more is the right integer values I should pass. O dot m1 of 3 comma I will pass 4. So when I pass float values, this particular second version will be invoked, and when I pass integer values, the first version will be invoked. Let us save this and run this program. Overload run file, and we can see that the area of the rectangle, the area of the square, and integer arguments is 3 point. I should write this. This is not integer arguments, this is float arguments. That is float arguments. Float arguments are plus k plus j. Integer arguments plus, I should give one space to increase the readability, plus I plus j. So let me just save this and run this program again. The area of the rectangle is the of the square rectangle. The area was the other thing which we overloaded, and float arguments are 3.4 and 10.5, and integer arguments are 3 and 4. So this is a program in which we have shown method overloading. Now I would like to discuss one more topic, called as type promotion in method overloading and type promotion. This is also very, very important. Okay. So you should understand this chart first. That is, I have discussed what are the primitive data types in Java. So the smallest data type in Java is byte, then comes short, and then comes int, and then comes long. Okay. So these are what are byte, short, int, and long. These are numbers without a decimal, and the shortest number without a decimal is byte, and the next larger data type is short, and the next larger data type is int, and the long is the biggest data type that is there in the non-decimal category. Then comes numbers with decimal. Numbers with decimals are of two types, float and double. Float has a width of 4 bytes and double has a width of 8 bytes. Then when a data type of smaller sizes, then what happens? Now let us try to see. I'll write a program, and type promotion means in Java, automatic type promotion is there. If the compiler does not find a matching type in the method argument list, then it will promote to the next data type. That is, byte will be promoted to short. If short is not available, then it will be promoted to int, and then it will be promoted to long. So long is the last in this category. Now, if some decimal value is there, if float is there, then if no matching float is there in the argument list, then it will be promoted to double. By doing a program, it will be more clear for you. Let me do one example, then it will be more clear. So let us create one package over here. New Java package. I'll name it as mypack. mypack. Click on finish. And then under mypack, let me declare one class, new Java class promotion class. Click on finish. So now let me write one this thing here, that is class demo, and inside this class demo I'm writing one function, that is public void show with, and then I'm writing public void show, and then system dot out dot print ln no arguments. No arguments, put semicolon here, and then system capital S, and then I'm writing public void show int I, and inside this I'm writing system dot out dot print ln integer arguments. Now inside this promotion class I'll be writing public static void main, string argument S, and then let me create an object of public static void main string args, and let me create an object of demo class here. Demo d1 is equal to demo d1, capital D. Demo d1 is equal to new of demo, and inside this I will call d1 dot show. That's correct. d1 dot show, and then why I'm just d1 dot show, and then d1 dot show of indi. I will pass one value called as 3. Okay. Now let me just save this, and I'm going to run this class, that is promotion class. I'm going to run this file. So you can see the output, no arguments, integer arguments. So this is a case of method overloading where the name of the method that is overloaded is show. Show has been overloaded multiple times, twice. One with no argument and one with one argument. Now my question to you guys is, suppose I pass one character value like this, that is d1 dot show of single quote A. I'm passing something like this. Is there any method with character argument here? No. I have written one with no argument and one with integer argument. So no matching argument for when I pass a character value. So my question to you guys is, will I get a compile time error? The answer is no. All of us expect, since there are no matching methods, we expect a compile time error. But let me tell you, you will not get a compile time error because this A will be promoted to the next available data type, or automatic type promotion is done by the compiler. So according to my PPT or my documentation which I had shown, this character will be promoted to float. So this is the chain, or this is the chart which should be injected into your mind to remember the type promotion in Java. Byte will be promoted to the next available data type, that is short. And if in case short is not available, it will be promoted to int. Int will be again promoted to long. That's the end of it. Now, if you get a float value, then that will be promoted to double. Now what happens when I pass a character value, if no matching argument is there, then it will be promoted to the next available data type, that is int. So in our case, we have a int argument. So when I pass this character argument, even though no matching methods are there, it will be promoted to the next data type, that is int, and this particular thing will be, this particular function will be selected by the compiler. Let us check our output and confirm the thing. Let me run this program. Run file. So you can see that. So d1.show, no arguments is called. d1.show 3 integer arguments, and d1.show A, that is, now if I pass plus d1.show, and this is plus I, plus I, plus I. So let me just run this again and see the output. Run file. That is A's ASCII value. That is A will be converted to ASCII value for A will be displayed over here. That is why you are getting it as 97. Okay. So, so that is all about type. Now I would like to show you one more example. That is public void show. I'm overloading this for one more time. Public void show. That is double D. I'm passing one double value, and then system.out.println command V. System.out.println double arguments plus D, and then I'm passing d1 dot show of 10.5 F. I'm passing a float value, d1 dot show of 10 point, that is 10 point F, 5F. Whereas here I'm passing a float value, whereas here it is double. So what happens according to our chart? That is, float will be automatically type promoted to double by the compiler. Why it is being promoted? Because there are no matching float arguments in this case. So it will be promoted to the next available data type, that is nothing but double. So this particular method will be invoked. Let me just run this and show you the output. Run file. So double arguments 10.5. You will get the value 10.5 will be promoted from float to the 10.5. What is the meaning of small f 10.5? That is f means it's a float value. So float value will be promoted to the next available data type, that is nothing but double. So this thing, what character will be promoted to integer. Now, if so, this is how type promotion works, and you have to memorize this chart for that. That is, byte will be promoted to short, short will be promoted to int, int will be promoted to long. If no matching type parser, compiler will try to promote to the next available data type. Okay. So that is all in this video about method overloading. So method overloading can be achieved in Java by two ways, that is by changing the number of arguments or by changing the data type. Thank you so much for watching.